National championship odds as college football season reaches Week 11. Ohio State remains the number one team in the country in the latest CFP rankings. For the past 2 seasons, Georgia has dominated college football, winning back-to-back national championships under Kirby Smart. It's been a foregone conclusion that the Bulldogs would be favored in all of their matchups in the past 2 years as Smart's brand of football dominated. And while Georgia is still Georgia, 9-0 and winners of 26 straight games, college football is seeing parity in 2023. The top of the latest college football playoff rankings is filled with undefeated teams, with a handful of one-loss squads capable of beating anyone in the country. The national championship still runs through Athens until someone beats the Bulldogs, but for the first time in a little while, there are other programs worthy of serious consideration. Let's take a look at the current national championship odds, according to Caesars Sportsbook. Michigan plus 210. It's been a tumultuous few weeks in Ann Arbor as sign-stealing accusations have continued to be the main topic of conversation around the program. Wolverines staff member Connor Stalions, who was at the center of the controversy, resigned Friday after being initially suspended with pay during the investigation. The Big Ten is reportedly weighing whether to hand down punishment this season under its sportsmanship policy as the NCAA continues its investigation. Despite the drama, Michigan rolled to another victory in Week 10, defeating Purdue 41-13. While Michigan sits at 9-0, the schedule has been unimpressive, with Jim Harbaugh's team not playing a team in the top 25 this year. That changes in Week 11 as Michigan makes a trip to Happy Valley to play number 10 Penn State. Georgia plus 270. The aforementioned Bulldogs may not be considered as dominant a squad as the 2 previous renditions, but does it really matter if they continue to win? Georgia has now won 26 consecutive games, 36 during the regular season, after defeating Missouri on Saturday. Quarterback Carson Beck has done his part, throwing for 13 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions in the past 6 games. The Bulldogs are in the midst of the difficult part of their schedule after a pretty easy slate for most of the year. Georgia welcomes number 9 Ole Miss to Athens before heading to Rocky Top for a matchup with number 13 Tennessee. They have 2 tough games coming up, Caesars Sportsbook college football lead Joey Feasel told Fox News Digital. They've got Ole Mississippi. A lot of people aren't super high on Ole Miss being number 9 in the college football playoff rankings. Lane Kiffin has proven that they can compete in these big games, so we'll see how Georgia comes out on Saturday. And then they have Tennessee in the following week. Certainly, Georgia could make a case this week of jumping to the favorite in the case of Michigan losing. I don't see Ohio State really jumping Georgia in that scenario. Really, what's going to make the biggest movement for Georgia is what happens in that Michigan game. And obviously how they perform in this Ole Miss game, which can be their one of 2 of the tougher types games on their schedule that's remaining, outside the SEC title game. If Smart's squad is able to run the table, a matchup with Nick Saban and Alabama in the SEC championship game is a distinct possibility. Florida State plus 500. The Seminoles secured a spot in the ACC championship game with a win over Pittsburgh on Saturday, the first time Florida State will play for the title since 2014. While it wasn't an impressive performance, FSU only took a 10-7 lead into halftime over a team that was 2-6. The Seminoles remain the number 4 team in the CFP. Quarterback Jordan Travis threw for a season-high 360 yards without the services of star wide receiver Keon Coleman, who was out with an injury. With 3 regular season games remaining, Miami, North Alabama, and Florida State has put itself in a prime position for its first CFP appearance. Ohio State plus 750. The Buckeyes continued on their collision course with Michigan with a victory over Rutgers in Week 10. While there was some thought to Georgia jumping Ohio State in the CFP rankings after a win over Missouri, the committee saw it differently, keeping the Buckeyes in the top spot. I think you have so many guys on our team that have just kind of been through all of this before, and they know it means absolutely nothing, and their goal is to win the whole thing and to be the number one team at the end of the year, Ohio State head coach Ryan Day said Tuesday, according to ESPN. We want to win them all, and that's all that matters. At the end, they'll rank us, but we're just going to try to win them all, and it continues this Saturday. The Buckeyes should have relatively easy games against Michigan State and Minnesota before the matchup that will have major implications on the playoff A.